So the last thing that I had that I wanted to talk about was stat weights. Again, this is going to look almost identical to the quick sim that we did at the very beginning. There, you don't get to change anything. You got to change it kind of ahead of time, and then you come in here for stat weights. I'm going to hit generate stat weights. Now, I did mention when we were doing the questions earlier about that glitch that Beastmaster Hunters have with haste. It's going to show up in my stat weights. So it's going to say, oh look, your crit and your haste are about the same, which isn't exactly real. Then there's mastery. Please don't ever get any versatility if you can help it. And here's your agility. So what this does is it says, okay, for these talents, for the gear that you're wearing, your current stats, for every, like it says here, for every 1 point of something you get, this is how much your DPS will increase. So if you hit copy to clipboard, if you have decided and you're following along at home and you are running the pawn add-on, which is totally optional, if you hit copy to clipboard, and then we're going to switch back to the World of Warcraft. If you just type in /pawn, it comes up. Go to the scale page. If you've never used pawn before, it probably looks like this. It comes preloaded with a bunch, like pretty much every class and spec strings. To enter your own, go to manual and go to import. And you're basically going to do a control V. I like to hit the home button. Everything between these quotes is the name that it's going to have over here. So I already have one that's Raidbots. I already have some that I pulled, like for hunters, the Icy Veins is our best guide. That's not true for everybody, but for us it is. So I've already pulled some off of Icy Veins and put them in as well, so I can kind of keep an eye on the best recommended general ones. So I'm going to change this to temp just so we can kind of keep track of it. And you hit OK. Now, if you come in and you like seriously disagree and you just want to make up your own, you can click on these and you can kind of change them to whatever you like. If you ever don't want one, if you come back here to the scale, this is where you would delete it. If you want it to show up as some sort of fancy color in your bags, you can also change it over here. That's all I'm going to tell you about pawn. This is not a tutorial on pawn, and I'm no expert, but those are the two things that I've needed to use: change color and delete. So what does pawn do for you? Well, if we come and look at my ridiculous bags, it 6 arrows on anything it considers an upgrade. Now this is again, because I have all the specs in there, it's saying, hey, if you wear this, it's a survival upgrade. Not super useful because I don't play survival, but it's there. I got this cool hat. So everybody thinks that that's an upgrade, except marksman. So sweet, let's stick the hat on. Not so fast. My hat slot, my head slot, is actually one of my 4-piece tier. Pawn is not going to tell you anything about tier set bonuses, procs. It is 100% pure stats. So you do have to use a little bit of common sense. Like if you're dealing with something like this ring, all it has is stats. It doesn't have anything else. There's no tier slot. So sure, go for it. You can use this as a rule of thumb. I typically never just stick something on based on what pawn is telling me. I pretty much always do at least a quick best in bags to be sure. Like down here, again, pawn is telling you relative item level. It's not telling you anything about whether the extra point that you would be getting on your weapon, like in this case wilderness expert, it's not telling you if that's good at all. All it's saying is if I stick this in my weapon, it's 1 item level better than what I have now. That's it. So don't go too hog wild with pawn. It's like a nice little rule of thumb, but it can definitely lead you astray. You can end up with some crazy stuff if you just follow it blindly.